Ahoy, ahoy, ahoy. So, it has been over 20 years since Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl hit the theaters. Quite a few people have shared their POTC story, or I call it the Pirate Awakening. But yeah, I just wanted to, share my story with you guys. Honestly, I have this only mostly scripted, because I think I'm going to ad-lib some of this. I had posted it on some more of my personal platforms that I don't have anyone on for a reason. Don't find me. But I wanted to share my story with the public in, video form. Anyway, here's my story. So, a bit of this you've already heard if you watched my previous videos. I've been into Pirates of the Caribbean, or pirates in general, since Curse of the Black Pearl. Pretty much right after the movie came out. But I didn't see it when it came out. I didn't have, the movie theater experience for it. I never had that movie theater experience for it. At least not until recently. But my first exposure to it was on DVD, a few months later, maybe a year later. It was some point within that next year afterwards. Yeah, when I first saw it, I was, about 6. Curse of the Black Pearl came out when I was 5, but I didn't see it until I was, 6. My earliest memories of it, I don't even know if this was actually my first time watching it. These are just my earliest memories of it. As far back as my brain can go. And my childhood is very fuzzy in my brain. I've been cursed and blessed with a very poor memory. But based on my earliest memories of it, this was my first experience with Pirates of the Caribbean. And there was this immediate fascination or mesmerization with it. The style, the clothes, the sets, just the entire aesthetic. Not only did I fall in love with POTC, I fell in love with pirates altogether. From the beginning, there was always been something different about me. I was diagnosed with being on the spectrum at a very young age, but I was never really aware of it until I got a bit older. A lot about me started to make more sense when I actually was aware of it, and a lot of it has influenced the way I express myself and the things that I love. My thing is, I guess, what they call a special interest. I don't really like using the word obsession for this case because most people think of that word as something negative and unhealthy. But for me, I do not see it as that way. However, I will be using it as it's easier for people to understand what that feeling is like. As with pirates, at first, it felt almost like a guilty pleasure. It's not like I was, super secretive about it or anything, but it was this fantasy that could never be achieved. Especially since it wasn't super normalized for little girls to, be into pirates. You were either a little boy or a teenage girl. It was so pretty obvious every time I went to the dollar store and I'd get, a pirate figure or pirate coloring books. I'd always imagined myself in a pirate costume or pirate garb, in a similar style to what I currently wear. I really wanted to be a pirate for Halloween, but I didn't have the courage to say so. It was kind of my family, picked out my costumes somewhat, but not really. The year after that, my grandma decided to make me and my brother pirate costumes for Halloween. And this was the first time I ever got to live my dream of being a pirate. The next years after that, my little guilty pleasure fascination thing turned into a full-blown obsession when Dead Man's Chest and At World's End came out, as well as the beginning of the spin-off Young Jack book series that I'm so obsessed with. And nothing fueled my obsession more than the fact that POTC was super popular at the time. There were promos for the movies everywhere. I got a ton of amazing merch that came out at the time, and most of it sadly kind of just disappeared. It either got thrown out or lost in storage. I guess people thought I'd grow out of it. Clearly, I didn't. Disneyland had, displays everywhere. I remember when they put the movie characters in the ride. And I remember being so excited to see that. And I also remember meeting Jack Sparrow in the parks. I was aware of the characters being put in the ride, but I was never aware of this Jack Sparrow, face character meet and greet. But I had a dream about that the night before we went to Disneyland. I had a dream about meeting Jack Sparrow at the park. So that next day, how it was the day after, the second time I met him, went a lot like how my dream went. It was nuts. Yeah, but also, dude, the social media presence, it wasn't really called, social media at the time. It was internet. Although I was, too young to have internet accounts, I remember a lot of like the internet fandom stuff as well. I didn't see the forums a whole lot, and I kind of miss that, like when hobbies and niches and interests and fandoms had their own forums and their own websites. But, like, I remember, like, even like before any of the sequels came out, I would Google pirates, and I would look up anything that was pirates on Google. And, like, I would constantly, like, go on the Curse of the Black Pearl website. Yeah, I remember, like, some of the internet fandom stuff. When I wasn't in school, I went everywhere dressed like Jack Sparrow for a good few months. I was also eager to learn a lot more about the real history of pirates through books and the internet and stuff. A lot of what I know about real life pirates of today, like, a lot of what I know today, came from some of those things when I was a kid. Like, I was, like, 10 years old knowing stuff about keel hauling and all that, and about like the democracy on pirate ships and stuff. When I was in middle and high school, pirates just kind of disappeared from my life a little bit. In middle school, I had a brief anime phase, and I started cosplaying and going to anime conventions. The fourth Pirates movie came out then, and I'm still salty no one took me on opening night. Clearly no one loves me. I started cosplaying as young Jack Sparrow right after. And that summer was when I also went to my first Ren Fair. My first pirate festival was the year after that. It was amazing to like see so many pirates in real life. That was like the first time where I ever saw like a bunch of pirates with my own eyes. I always saw videos of those events when I was younger, but I didn't think I would ever go to them because I didn't know that there were a couple close-ish to me. I had also found a small cult following for the Young Jack books online, and I decided to carry it on my back from then all the way up till now. People joining and leaving and joining along the way. Pirates kind of further disappeared from my life a little bit after that, when I had that huge My Little Pony era from high school to college. Pirates was still always in my mind, but I was a super dedicated brony. A year or two before Pirates 5 came out, Pirates finally came back in my life. I started to cosplay Young Jack again after taking a few months break from him, maybe like a year break. And I did some huge upgrades on it sometime after. I started going to more and more conventions. I thought that there would be like more Pirates fans there. And I met so many people at cons and online. Anyone who knew me as the Young Jack. Even to say I'm still the Young Jack, even though he rarely comes out anymore. A few years ago, I started to get burnt out from the whole cosplay thing. The hype around POTC and my cosplays started to fizzle out amongst people. My interest changed a lot, as in I wasn't into the more popular pop culture things anymore, like I used to. And lastly, even at that time, the con culture, the convention policies, and especially the cosplay community had changed beyond recognition. I felt like it was time for me to like move on from that part of my life and start distancing myself from it and start focusing on fair and the pirate community. It fit my niche more, and a lot more folks seemed to be a lot more open and welcome. I had always done like my 1 or 2 local Ren fairs and my 1 Pirate Fest for quite a long time. Like, for several years, actually. But I never really actually got to be involved in that community and explore more fairs outside of how little Ren Fair activity there is in my area. But I was always a kid. Like, I couldn't be involved as a minor, and I couldn't be involved as a pre-21 adult either. I was ready to finally be a part of that at 22. And then COVID happened right after. I had to wait a year and a half to finally be part of it. I had got so far in my connections, and I had so many new opportunities laid out for me that year. All that was flushed down the drain. I also lost like 98% of all the friends I ever had, and most of them were in the cosplay community. A lot of the issues, actually all the issues I had with cons in that community had gotten so much worse over the lockdown and after. I thought before COVID, it was as bad as it was going to get. I would have never thought it would get worse. But I don't recognize any of those people anymore. They have all changed so much. And I'm probably unrecognizable to them as well. And they'd probably hate my guts if they knew how specifically I changed. It was honestly for the best, as I still got my fellow pirates on my side. Although, unfortunately, fair hasn't been the same since COVID either. And it really bums me out because I hardly got to experience pre-COVID fair. And most fairs and festivals I go to now, I never got to experience pre-COVID. But now today, I feel like the POTC and Pirates altogether have been mostly gone from my life for so long. And I missed out so much on not being able to be part of the POTC fandom for so long and not being part of the pirate community for a majority of the time I've been going to fair, as well as being majorly set back from the lockdown. I've always said it, and I'll say it again. I hate how young I am in this day and age. I've had people reassure me, no, you didn't miss out on anything, or like, things are a lot better now than you used to. But I still feel like I missed out on literally everything good because of my age. Like, I was too young. And I still miss out on quite a bit because I got like my own like mental issues. And that caused me to like be more dependent on people, and I don't really have anyone to depend on. I owe it to POTC and the pirate community to be as dedicated as I possibly could be to the POTC fandom and the pirate community, and be at as much fair as I financially can be. I still feel like I can never belong anywhere, and no one gets how fucking lonely I am. I'm so lonely. But I enjoy fair a lot more than anything else I've ever been a part of, and I love being in the presence of all the pirates there. I feel like my inner child finally coming out and healing. If younger me saw who I am today, I'd think I'm the baddest mother. I've done so much that I've been dreaming of doing since I was a kid, and I still can't believe I had those experiences. In my ad-lib part, what Pirates of the Caribbean, like what pirates means to me, especially the more romanticized version of pirates that we think of, is being true to yourself and having the freedom to do that. Like, every time I do pirate stuff, every time I go out in garb and stuff, I feel free. Even outside of my garb, I have a pirate-inspired wardrobe. Or at least I try to. It's like the adventure. I've always been trapped in a box my whole life, literally and figuratively. And being out like on the open sea and going like on grand adventures and stealing booty and drinking and stuff, that is like my dream life. Yeah, like I guess it's mainly just that sense of freedom. Like I said, I don't feel like I fit in anywhere. I just don't belong anywhere. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling. This is not part of the script. Oh, my ADHD rants again. Anyway, I'm gonna close this out. I don't have any clue what I would be if Pirates of the Caribbean was never around. The ride nor the movies. Anytime I've been in my lowest of lows, I fall back into feeling like I'm 10 years old again, wondering why no one likes me or wants to be my friend. Especially during my biggest mental and physical downfall of all time during COVID. Pirates has always been there for me. Jack Sparrow has always been there for me. Yeah, thank you. And happy anniversary, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.